"Mom, you're sitting here." Aubrey's voice sliced through the ballroom chatter, cold, clipped, final. I stared at the chair she pointed to. It sat pressed against swinging kitchen doors. Metal clattered behind them. Servers rushed past, trays balanced high. The smell of grilled salmon mixed with dishwater. My throat tightened. "Here?" The word barely escaped my lips. "Yes, here." Aubrey smoothed her silk dress. Her diamond bracelet caught the chandelier light. We had to make last-minute adjustments. Last minute. The wedding had been planned for 8 months. I lowered myself into the chair. The cushion felt thin. Behind me, a door swung open. Someone shouted about burnt rolls. Laughter erupted from the head table. My son's laughter. Miles. He didn't look my way. The kitchen door banged shut. My shoulders jerked. A server squeezed past, muttering an apology. Ice water sloshed onto my lap. The cold seeped through my dress. I pressed a napkin to the wet spot. Aubrey had already turned away. Her heels clicked across marble. She glided toward the center tables, the ones with white roses, the ones where aunts and uncles sat, where family belonged. My chest ached. Guests filled the ballroom. Crystal glasses sparkled. Violins hummed. Everyone looked beautiful. Everyone looked happy. Everyone except me. I twisted my hands in my lap. The kitchen door swung again. This time steam billowed out. It curled around my shoulders like a shroud. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? That's where I sat, near the kitchen, near the noise. Far from my son. Far from the joy I'd imagined when he told me he was getting married. This betrayal happens every day. Subscribe to see how this ends. I would love to know where you are watching from. Tell me in the comments. My fingers found the edge of the tablecloth. I gripped it. White linen. Expensive. Just like everything else tonight. Just like the wedding I couldn't afford to contribute to. Not after the medical bills. Not after losing everything. Aubrey knew that. She'd seated me here anyway. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, louder than the kitchen clatter, louder than the string quartet playing Mozart. I tried to breathe, in, out, in. Whispers drifted from nearby tables. I caught fragments. His mother? Next to the kitchen. How strange. Heat crawled up my neck. My hands trembled. I clasped them together, pressed them into my lap until my knuckles went white. This wasn't an accident. Aubrey didn't make accidents. She made statements. I was the statement. Look at the poor mother-in-law. Look where she belongs. Out of sight. Out of mind. A woman in a lavender dress glanced back at me. Her eyebrows lifted. She leaned toward her companion. More whispers. More stares. I forced my spine straight. Lifted my chin. But inside, I was crumbling. When did I become this? The embarrassment, the inconvenience, the woman my son couldn't look at. Miles had called me 3 weeks ago. "Mom, just accept how things are." His voice had sounded tired, defeated. I'd wanted to scream. Instead, I'd said, "Of course, sweetheart." Now I understood what he meant. Things are this: me, alone, forgotten. A server brushed past. His elbow knocked my water glass. It tipped. I caught it just before it spilled again. My reflexes, at least, still worked. "Why am I here?" I whispered to no one. The kitchen door answered with another bang. Shouts about appetizers echoed. My question dissolved into the chaos, but it stayed inside me, growing, demanding an answer I was terrified to find. 2 weeks earlier, I'd stood in my living room. Sunlight streamed through lace curtains. Dust motes danced in the golden beams. I'd been thinking about Andre. 50 years since I'd last seen him. 50 years since that summer in Cambridge. We'd been young, reckless, in love. "Come with me to Paris," he'd said. His voice had been warm honey. "We'll start over there." I'd wanted to. God, how I'd wanted to. But my mother was sick. My father needed help. Duty called louder than love. I can't, I told him. Not yet. He'd kissed my forehead. Then I'll wait. But he hadn't. 3 months later, I heard he'd married someone else, a French heiress. I married too, a kind man, a good man, my late husband. We'd built a life, not the one I dreamed of, but a real one, a solid one, until his illness drained everything. The medical bills came first, then the second mortgage, then the choice between electricity and groceries. I'd chosen groceries. Candles worked well enough. Miles never knew. I'd hidden it, worn the same dress to church, smiled through holidays, pretended everything was fine. Mothers do that. But Aubrey had figured it out. She'd seen my worn shoes, my outdated phone, the way I declined restaurant invitations. She'd seen everything I'd tried to hide, and now she was punishing me for it. I blinked. The living room memory faded. The ballroom rushed back. Kitchen noise, whispers, shame. But Andre's voice lingered. I'll wait. Too late now. For everything. Naomi. Patrice's voice cut through my spiral. I looked up. My best friend stood beside my table. Her burgundy dress shimmered. Her eyes blazed with fury. What are you doing back here? She pulled out a chair, sat without asking. Aubrey seated me. My voice sounded hollow. Like hell she did. Patrice's jaw clenched. This is deliberate. Yes, I knew that. You're probably wondering why I didn't stand up right then, why I didn't march to that head table and demand answers. But when you've spent years making yourself smaller, standing up feels impossible. Patrice leaned closer. I heard her on the phone yesterday. My stomach dropped. What phone call? With the wedding planner. She was giving new instructions. Patrice's fingers drummed the table. She specifically mentioned your seating. The kitchen door banged. I flinched. Why would she do that? But I knew. Because she's threatened by you. Patrice's voice softened. You're everything she's not. Genuine, loved, respected. Was I? I didn't feel respected tonight. There's something else. Patrice glanced around, lowered her voice. Someone unexpected might show up tonight. My heart skipped. Who? I don't know, but I overheard Aubrey panicking about it. Patrice squeezed my hand. She kept saying, he can't come here. He'll ruin everything. He, a man. My mind spun. Who would threaten Aubrey enough to panic her? Did she say a name? I asked. Patrice shook her head. Just he. Over and over. Laughter erupted from the head table again. Miles threw his head back. Aubrey sat beside him, her hand possessive on his arm. She glanced back. Her eyes met mine. She smiled. Cold. Victorious. Then she leaned toward Miles. Whispered something. He stopped laughing. His face went serious. Something's wrong, I said. Beyond the seating. I know. Patrice followed my gaze. And we're going to find out what. The salad course arrived. Servers placed delicate plates on tables. Arugula with candied pecans, goat cheese crumbles, vinaigrette that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. My plate came last. The server set it down without meeting my eyes. I picked up my fork, appetite gone, but I needed something to do with my hands. Aubrey appeared beside me. I hadn't heard her approach. I hope you're comfortable, Mom. The word dripped with false sweetness. I set down my fork. Why did you seat me here? Space constraints. She examined her manicure. Perfect French tips. We had to accommodate Uncle Richard's family. Let me tell you something about liars. They always add unnecessary details. Truth needs no decoration. Uncle Richard declined 2 months ago. The words came out steady, stronger than I felt. Aubrey's smile tightened. Did he? I called him last week. I hadn't, but she didn't know that. Her eyes flashed, just for a second. Then the mask returned. Well, then I must have been mistaken. Must have been. A couple passed behind us. The woman in the lavender dress from earlier. She slowed, clearly listening. Pathetic. the woman murmured to her companion. Seated by the kitchen. The words hit like a slap. My face burned. Aubrey's lips curved. She'd heard too. Enjoy your meal, Mom. She walked away. Her heels clicked triumph. I looked toward Miles. Please, look at me. See what's happening. He was checking his phone, his face troubled. His thumb scrolled rapidly. Our eyes met. Finally. For one heartbeat, I thought he'd come over. I thought he'd ask why I was here, why I wasn't with family. He looked away. My chest cracked open. I found Patrice near the powder room, away from prying eyes, away from kitchen noise. I can't do this. My voice broke. Yes, you can. Patrice gripped my shoulders. Listen to me. You are Naomi Sinclair. You survived poverty. You survived loss. You sure as hell can survive this. Tears burned my eyes. I blinked them back. Something's going on. Patrice pulled me into the alcove. Aubrey's hiding something. I saw her arguing with the caterer earlier about bills. Bills. My radar pinged. What kind of bills? Unpaid ones. Patrice's eyes sharpened. She was promising to pay after the honeymoon. After? Always after. She's broke, I said slowly. Or close to it. Patrice nodded, and she doesn't want anyone to know. Especially not Miles. Miles with his successful career, his generous nature, his tendency to rescue people. I didn't know it then, but that moment changed everything. Because broke people do desperate things, and desperate people make mistakes. I need to know the truth. The words surprised me, but once spoken, they felt right. Then we'll find it. Patrice's fierce loyalty wrapped around me like armor. How? Start with the wedding planner. Ask questions. Patrice tapped her phone. I'll check public records. See what's lurking. Public records, financial documents, the architecture of lies. What if it's worse than we think? I asked. Then we'll deal with worse. Patrice's voice turned steel. But you're not sitting near that kitchen anymore. I don't want to cause a scene. Honey, the scene already happened. She gestured toward the ballroom. Now we're writing a different ending. A different ending. One where I wasn't invisible, where I wasn't disposable. I will not be an afterthought in my own story, I said quietly. The words felt sacred. True. Patrice smiled. There's my friend. Music swelled from the ballroom, the first dance. I should be watching. Instead, I was plotting. Strange how humiliation births rebellion. Miles's laughter drifted through the door. I used to know every note of that sound. Now it felt foreign, like a song I'd forgotten how to sing. Let's go back, I said. I want to watch what happens next. Because something would happen. I felt it humming under my skin. Change, revelation, reckoning. The question wasn't if. The question was when. I stood in the ballroom doorway. Music swirled. Couples danced. Chandeliers sparkled like captured stars. Somewhere out there, truth waited. About Aubrey's finances. About the mysterious he she feared. About why my son chose silence over defending his mother. I'd find every answer. Piece them together until the full picture emerged. And if Andre's name surfaced, if somehow, after 50 years, our paths crossed again? My heart trembled at the possibility. The kitchen doors swung behind me one last time. I didn't look back. Forward. Only forward now. Whatever came next, I'd face it standing tall. Not hidden, not ashamed, because I was done being invisible. The morning after the wedding, I stood outside the wedding planner's office. Glass doors reflected my tired face. Patrice squeezed my hand. Ready? Her voice was gentle but firm. No. I pushed the door open anyway. The office smelled like lavender and lies. Soft music played from hidden speakers. The planner, a thin woman named Rachel, sat behind a pristine white desk. Mrs. Sinclair, Rachel's voice went tight. I wasn't expecting you. I know. I sat without being invited. Patrice stood behind me, a wall of support. Rachel's fingers drummed the desk. Tap, tap, tap. Nervous rhythm. Why was my seating changed? I kept my voice level, calm. Rachel started. Don't lie. Patrice's voice cut sharp. We know Aubrey called you. Rachel's drumming stopped. Her breath hitched. I was following client instructions. What instructions? I leaned forward. Silence stretched. The lavender scent grew cloying, suffocating. She said you preferred being near the kitchen. Rachel's words rushed out. She said you had dietary restrictions, special needs. Special needs, like I was elderly, infirm, inconvenient. Show me the email. My hands gripped the chair arms. I can't show me. Rachel's mouse clicked. Once, twice. Her monitor glowed. She turned it toward me reluctantly. The email was dated 5 days before the wedding. Aubrey's name in bold. Subject line, urgent seating changes. I read aloud. Please seat my mother-in-law near the kitchen entrance. She has mobility issues and may need quick access. Keep her away from the main family tables. Mobility issues. I'd hiked 3 miles the week before. There's more. Rachel scrolled down. Her hand trembled. Another email. This one from 2 weeks earlier. Delete Naomi Sinclair from the family photo list. She won't be participating in formal portraits. The words punched my stomach. Remember Patrice, my best friend, the one who'd urged me to stand up at the wedding, gripped my shoulder hard. Her nails dug through fabric, grounding me, keeping me from floating away on this fresh betrayal. Why didn't you question this? Patrice's voice shook with rage. She's the bride. Rachel's voice dropped to a whisper. The client is always right. Wrong. The client was a liar. I stood. My legs felt hollow, but I walked steady. Print those emails, I said at the door. All of them. Rachel nodded. The printer whirred to life. 2 days later, I sat in my living room. Afternoon light slanted through curtains. The printed emails lay spread across my coffee table. Evidence, proof. My phone rang. Patrice. You need to hear this, she said. No greeting, just urgency. What? I was at the grocery store last night. Ran into Helen from church. Patrice's breath came fast. She lives next door to Miles and Aubrey. My heart kicked harder. Helen hears things through the walls. Late-night arguments, phone calls. Patrice paused. About money. Money. Always money. What kind of arguments? The desperate kind. Patrice's voice lowered. Helen heard Aubrey crying about bills, begging someone for an extension. The wedding had cost $60,000. I'd seen the invoice when I helped address invitations. $60,000 for 1 day. When was this? 3 weeks ago. Right before the wedding. I thought about Aubrey's diamond bracelet, her silk dress, the ice sculptures shaped like swans. She's broke. The words felt strange in my mouth, or close to it. Patrice agreed, and there's more. More. Always more darkness to uncover. I found unpaid vendor invoices in their mailbox yesterday. Helen asked me to grab their mail while she watered their plants. Patrice's voice turned apologetic. I wasn't snooping. The envelopes were marked Final Notice. Final Notice. Last chance. Pay or face consequences. How much? $12,000 just from the caterer. My stomach dropped. Who had $12,000 in unpaid catering bills? Do you wonder how someone throws a $60,000 wedding they can't afford? They borrow. They lie. They hide the truth from everyone, even their new husband. Miles doesn't know, I said. Certainty settled in my bones. Probably not, Patrice sighed, which means she's using him. The betrayal cut deeper. My son, my kind, trusting son. My phone buzzed. Text from Miles. Can't talk today. Swamped at work. 3rd text like that this week. I called him anyway, midweek, Wednesday afternoon. His assistant put me through after a long pause. Mom. Miles's voice sounded strained, thin wire ready to snap. We need to talk. I paced my kitchen. Linoleum creaked under my feet. About what? About your wedding. About where I sat. The words came easier now. Practice made them sharper. Silence. Then, you're still upset about that? Still. Like my feelings had an expiration date. Yes, Miles, I'm still upset. My voice cracked. I'm your mother. I know. He sighed, heavy, defeated. But Aubrey made those arrangements. Did you ask her why? Another pause. Longer this time. Office sounds filtered through. Distant voices. A phone ringing. No. Barely audible. Why not? Because... He trailed off. Because what? I pressed harder. Because it's easier not to. His voice dropped to a whisper. She gets upset when I question her. Upset. What a small word for manipulation. Miles, listen to me. I gripped the counter. Something's wrong. Aubrey's hiding things. Mom, don't start. His tone shifted. Defensive now. I have proof. Proof of what? Anger crept in. That you don't like my wife? The accusation stung, barbed and sharp. Proof that she's lying to you. I forced the words out. About money. About me. About everything. I can't do this right now. His voice went cold, distant. I have a meeting. Miles. The line went dead. I stared at my phone. My son. My baby. Choosing her over truth. That evening, Patrice came over. She brought wine and determination. He hung up on you. Not a question. She'd heard it in my voice when I texted. Yes. I poured 2 glasses. Red wine swirled like blood. He's scared. Patrice settled into my worn couch, scared of what he might find. I'm scared too. The admission felt heavy. I know, honey. Patrice's voice wrapped around me. Warm blanket on a cold night. But we keep going. Why? Exhaustion pulled at my bones. Because the truth matters. She clinked her glass against mine. And because you're stronger than you think. Was I? Some days I felt like tissue paper, one tear away from shredding. What do we do next? I asked. We gather more evidence. Patrice pulled out her phone. I've been digging into public records. Public records. The paper trail liars leave behind. What did you find? Aubrey's got 3 credit cards maxed out. Patrice scrolled through screenshots. Total debt, $47,000. $47,000, plus 12 in vendor bills, nearly $60,000 in debt. Does Miles know? Doubtful. Patrice zoomed in on a document. She opened these in her maiden name, before the wedding. Before, when she was still pretending. There's something else. Patrice's finger hovered over her screen. Remember when I mentioned someone unexpected might show up? My breath caught. Yes. I heard more rumors today. Her eyes met mine. About Andre Delacroix. Andre. That name. After 50 years, it still made my heart skip. What about him? My voice came out shaky. He's in Boston. For a charity gala. Patrice watched me carefully. Supposedly arriving this weekend. Andre. Here. In my city. Why would Aubrey care about that? But even as I asked, pieces clicked together. Because Andre's wealthy, famous, respected. Patrice leaned forward. If he shows up asking about you, everyone will listen. Everyone, including my son. But why would he ask about me? 50 years. Half a century of silence. Maybe he never forgot. Patrice's voice went soft. Maybe he's been looking for you. The possibility felt too big, too fragile to hold. Late that night, I couldn't sleep. My mind churned with questions. Money, lies, Andre. I went to my desk. Old habit. When confused, organize. My late husband's trust documents sat in the bottom drawer. I'd reviewed them after his death. Everything had been straightforward, simple. Except now, pulling them out, something felt wrong. The signature page looked odd, smudged, the ink color slightly different. I held it up to the lamp, squinted. This wasn't my signature. Close, but not quite right. The loop in the N too small, the tail on the H too long. Someone had forged my name. My hands shook. The document fluttered. Words swam. I grabbed my phone, called Patrice. She answered on the first ring. I found something. My voice trembled. In the trust documents. What kind of something? A forgery. The word felt poisonous. Someone signed my name, changed the beneficiaries. Silence crackled over the line. Then, where does the money go now? I scanned the document, found the beneficiary clause, read it twice. My vision blurred. To Aubrey. The room tilted. As backup executor if I'm incapacitated. Jesus, Patrice's breath hissed. When was this changed? I checked the date. 6 months ago. Right when Miles started dating Aubrey seriously. She's been planning this. The realization crashed over me. All of it. The wedding, the seating, the isolation. Every piece designed to push me aside, make me disappear, so she could take everything. You're probably wondering how I didn't see this coming. But predators are patient. They wait, they watch, they strike when you're weakest, and I'd been very weak. We need a lawyer, Patrice said. Now. Tomorrow. I set the document down carefully. Evidence. Precious proof. You okay? Patrice asked. No. Honesty felt important, but I will be. Because now I understood. This wasn't just about a chair near the kitchen. This was theft, fraud, betrayal at its ugliest, and I was done being a victim. The clock chimed midnight. A new day beginning. One where I fought back. One where Aubrey learned she'd chosen the wrong target. 1 week after the wedding, Aubrey's voice cut through her living room like a blade, sharp, controlled. She's becoming a problem, Miles. I didn't hear my son's response. Patrice had positioned herself outside their townhouse. She'd called me immediately, phone pressed to her ear, whispering what she overheard through the cracked window. What's she saying? My pulse hammered. Hold on. Patrice's breathing went quiet. Listening, Aubrey's voice rose. Your mother is asking questions, talking to vendors. She's going to ruin everything. Ruin what? The truth already lay in ruins. What do you want me to do? Miles sounded exhausted, defeated. Handle her. Aubrey's tone turned venomous. Or I will. Handle her. Like I was a pest, an infestation to eliminate. She's my mother, Aubrey. Miles's voice cracked. Exactly. Your responsibility. Something crashed. Glass, maybe. If she keeps digging, people will find out about the money, about the bills. There it was. Confirmation. Aubrey was hiding debt from my son. I'll talk to her, Miles promised quietly. You better. Aubrey's heels clicked. Moving closer to the window, Patrice's breath hitched. Because if your mother destroys my reputation, you'll lose me. Is that what you want? Manipulation wrapped in ultimatum. Classic Aubrey. No. Miles sounded broken. I don't want that. Then fix this. Today. The conversation ended. Patrice pulled back from the window. Her footsteps crunched gravel as she hurried to her car. Did you hear that? Her voice shook with rage when she spoke again. Every word. My kitchen suddenly felt too small, too bright. She threatened me. She threatened both of you. Patrice started her car, engine roaring to life. Miles is trapped, Naomi. Trapped by love, or what he thought was love. My phone buzzed. Text from Miles. Mom, can we talk? Right on schedule. Aubrey's puppet dancing on command. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table. Sunlight streamed through the window. Birds sang outside. Everything felt normal, except nothing was. Patrice arrived with coffee and determination. She set 2 cups down. Steam curled upward like questions seeking answers. How are you holding up? She settled across from me. I don't know. Honesty felt important. Angry, scared, exhausted. All normal. Patrice sipped her coffee. Given the circumstances. Circumstances. Such a polite word for betrayal. She wants to erase me. The words tasted bitter, like I never existed. She can't erase you. Patrice's voice turned fierce. You're Miles's mother. That's permanent. Was it? Aubrey seemed determined to prove otherwise. I keep thinking about the wedding. My fingers traced the cup rim, how everyone stared, how Miles looked away. The memory still burned. He's ashamed. Patrice reached across the table, squeezed my hand. Not of you, of himself. Maybe, or maybe Aubrey had convinced him I deserved that kitchen seat. I want my son back. My voice broke. Then we fight harder. Patrice pulled out her laptop. I've been documenting everything, the emails, the bills, the debt. Evidence, our weapon against lies. What do we do with it? I asked. We show Miles. Patrice's eyes gleamed. All of it. Before Aubrey poisons him completely. Before. Such a small window. Time narrowing with each passing day. What if he doesn't believe me? The fear choked me. Then we make him listen. Patrice opened a folder. Documents filled the screen. Because the truth always wins. Did it? Or did the loudest liar claim victory? 2 days later, Patrice dragged me to a charity gala downtown. Silk dresses and champagne glasses, money glittering in every corner. Why are we here? I smoothed my simple black dress, borrowed from Patrice. Because Andre Delacroix is here. Patrice's voice hummed with excitement. And you need to see him. Andre. That name still made my heart stumble. I can't. Panic fluttered in my chest. It's been 50 years. Exactly. Patrice guided me through the crowd. 50 years too long. The ballroom sparkled. Crystal chandeliers, gold accents, wealth displayed like peacock feathers. Then I heard it. A voice, deep, warm, familiar despite decades of silence. The foundation will support educational initiatives throughout Boston. Andre, speaking at the podium, silver-haired now, distinguished, still breathtaking. My legs went weak. That's him, Patrice whispered. I knew. My body remembered before my mind caught up. Andre continued his speech, eloquent, passionate. The boy I'd loved had become a man who changed the world, and I'd become a woman forgotten at her son's wedding. What would you do if the love you abandoned came back when you needed saving most? Would you run toward hope or hide in shame? Andre finished speaking. Applause erupted. He stepped down from the podium. People swarmed him, admirers, supplicants, everyone wanting a piece of his attention. We should leave, I said, fear overriding longing. Not yet. Patrice held my arm. He might remember you. Remember me? I barely remembered myself anymore. But then Andre's eyes swept the room, searching. They landed on me, stopped. Recognition flashed across his face. His mouth opened slightly, my name forming silently. He remembered. The room tilted. 50 years collapsed into seconds. He started walking toward me. The crowd parted. Everyone watching this elegant man cross the ballroom with purpose. Naomi? His voice wrapped around my name like a prayer. Is it really you? Hello, Andre. My voice trembled. It's been a while. He laughed, rich and warm. A while, yes. His eyes shone. You're as beautiful as I remember. Lies. Kind lies, but appreciated nonetheless. You look well, I managed. I look old. He smiled. But so do you. Beautifully old. Honest. Direct. Utterly Andre. Patrice coughed. Subtle prompt. This is my friend Patrice, I said. Delighted. Andre shook her hand, but his eyes never left mine. Naomi, could we talk? Privately? This story takes a turn now. Subscribe to see what happens next. If you're still not subscribing, tell me in the comments, what's holding you back? 3 hours later, I sat in Patrice's office. Documents spread across her desk, financial records, court filings, evidence of Aubrey's web of deceit. Look at this. Patrice pointed to a highlighted section. She forged your signature on 3 different documents. 3. Not one mistake. Deliberate fraud. The trust, the bank authorization, and this power of attorney form. Patrice's finger tapped each page. All forged. My stomach churned. When? 6 months ago, right when she started dating Miles seriously. Premeditated, calculated. She'd been planning this before the engagement. She tried to get herself named conservator. Patrice's voice went cold. If she'd succeeded, she'd control everything. Control my money, my medical decisions, my life. But she didn't succeed, I said, grasping for hope. Only because I found it first. Patrice pulled up another file. She filed the petition using a fake doctor's note. Fake. Forged. Every piece of Aubrey built on lies. What doctor? I asked. Dr. Harrison Chen, neurologist. Patrice clicked open the document, except there's no Dr. Harrison Chen registered in Massachusetts. A ghost doctor. Signing ghost paperwork, creating ghost evidence. She made him up. The audacity stunned me. Completely fabricated. Patrice's jaw clenched, which means criminal fraud, felony level. Felony. Prison time. Real consequences. We have to tell Miles, I said. Agreed. Patrice started printing documents. But we need to do it right, with a lawyer present. A lawyer, making this official, legal, permanent. He's going to hate me. The thought broke my heart. He's going to hate her. Patrice's voice softened. You're saving him, Naomi. Was I? Or was I destroying his marriage? The printer hummed. Page after page of Aubrey's crimes. I called Miles that afternoon. He answered on the 5th ring. Mom! Resignation colored his voice. I was going to call you. We need to meet. I kept my voice steady. Today. I don't think that's a good idea. He sounded tired, worn down. Miles, please. Desperation crept in. It's important. Silence stretched. I heard Aubrey's voice in the background, demanding. He covered the phone. Muffled argument. I can't. He came back on the line. Aubrey thinks. I don't care what Aubrey thinks. My patience snapped. I'm your mother, not her. Mom, don't make this harder. Harder? Harder than being erased? I have proof, I said, the words tumbling out. Of what she's doing. The money. The fraud. Fraud? His voice sharpened. What are you talking about? Meet me. Let me show you. I gripped the phone. Please, Miles, trust me one more time. More silence. Longer this time. My heart hammered, waiting, hoping. Fine. He sighed. Heavy. Defeated. Tomorrow. Noon. The coffee shop on Newberry? Thank you. Relief flooded through me. But Mom. His voice dropped. This better not be some scheme to break us up. Scheme. Like I was the villain. It's not a scheme, my voice broke. It's the truth. We'll see. He hung up. I stared at my phone. My son thought I was lying. Aubrey had poisoned him that thoroughly. Tomorrow, one chance to break through. I couldn't fail. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Naomi. Aubrey's voice, sweet as arsenic. We need to talk. My blood went cold. About what? About you disrupting my marriage. Silk over steel. It needs to stop. I'm not disrupting anything. I kept my voice level. I'm protecting my son. From what? She laughed. Light. Mocking. From happiness. From love? From you. The words came out hard. Final. Her laughter stopped. Silence crackled. Dangerous. Be very careful, Naomi. Her voice turned arctic. You're playing a game you can't win. This isn't a game. My hand shook. This is my family. Was your family. Each word dripped poison. Miles chose me. He chose our life together. Because you're lying to him. Anger blazed through fear. Prove it. Challenge. Dare. Threat. I will. My voice didn't waver. Tomorrow. Tomorrow? She went quiet, calculating. You're meeting him, aren't you? How did she know? That's none of your business. Everything about Miles is my business. Her breathing changed. Faster. I'm his wife. And I'm his mother. I stood, paced. That's permanent. You're not. We'll see about that. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Back off, Naomi, or you'll regret it. Is that a threat? It's a promise. She hung up. I stood in my kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, dial tone humming. Aubrey had just declared war, and I was ready to fight. 3 weeks after the wedding, my living room became a war room. Documents covered every surface, evidence stacked like ammunition. Andre sat beside me. His presence still felt surreal. 50 years dissolved. Here he was, silver-haired, distinguished, and somehow still mine. This is substantial. His voice rumbled with authority. The forgeries alone carry prison time. Prison. For my son's wife, the mother of potential grandchildren. My hands trembled. Andre covered them with his. Warm. Steady. Are you certain about this? He searched my eyes. Once we start, there's no going back. Was I certain? My son had married a criminal. She'd tried to steal my estate. She'd humiliated me publicly. I'm certain. My voice didn't waver. Patrice burst through the door. She carried a folder thick with fresh discoveries. Her energy crackled like lightning. You won't believe what I found. She dropped the folder onto the coffee table. Papers spilled. Aubrey's been using Miles's credit cards without permission. Andre picked up a statement. His jaw tightened. $23,000 in charges, all personal expenses. Handbags, jewelry, spa treatments. Patrice pointed to highlighted entries. Nothing for their household, all for her. Miles didn't know. Of course he didn't. Aubrey kept him blind, compliant, controlled. We present everything tonight. Andre's voice turned to steel. At the charity event, where witnesses can see. Tonight, hours away from truth. He'll hate me. The words barely escaped. He'll thank you. Andre squeezed my hand. Eventually. Eventually. After the pain, after the revelation, after his world shattered. Remember? Patrice, my best friend, the one who'd discovered Aubrey's schemes at the wedding, gathered the evidence into 3 neat folders. One for Miles, one for the lawyers, one for the authorities. You're saving him, she said firmly. Don't forget that. Saving him. By destroying his marriage. By exposing his wife's crimes. By proving I'd been right all along. The doorbell rang. My lawyer arrived. Then Andre's legal team. We reviewed strategy, timing, consequences. By evening, I was ready. Terrified, but ready. Let's go claim your dignity, Andre said. He offered his arm. I took it, stepped toward reckoning. The ballroom glittered. The same venue where Miles had married Aubrey. Different event. Same ghosts. Andre entered with me, his hand possessive on my back. Protective. Proud. Conversation stopped. Heads turned. Whispers rippled through the crowd like wind through wheat. Is that Andre Delacroix? Someone gasped. Who's the woman with him? Wait, that's Naomi Sinclair, Miles's mother. Recognition spread. Shock bloomed on faces. Miles stood near the bar. His eyes widened when he saw us. Saw Andre. Saw Andre's hand guiding me forward. Aubrey's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. Her face went pale, then red, then pale again. Andre walked us to the center of the room. He moved like a king claiming territory, confident, unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, his voice carried without shouting, I'd like to introduce someone extraordinary. Every eye turned toward us. The room held its breath. This is Naomi Sinclair. Andre's voice rang with pride. My first love, the woman I should have married 50 years ago. Gasps erupted. Phones appeared, people recording, witnessing. Naomi embodies grace under pressure, dignity amid betrayal. Andre's eyes swept the crowd. She's endured treatment no mother should face. Miles's face crumpled. Confusion, shame, realization dawning. At her son's wedding, she was seated near the kitchen. Andre let that sink in, deliberately, cruelly, by someone threatened by her kindness. Aubrey's voice cut sharp. That's enough. No. Andre's voice dropped. Dangerous. It's not nearly enough. He pulled out the first document, held it high. This is a forged signature, Naomi's signature, on trust documents altering her estate. The room exploded in murmurs, shockwaves spreading. And this? Another document, a fake medical report used to petition for conservatorship. Miles pushed through the crowd. What are you talking about? Your wife, Andre's voice turned ice, is a thief. Aubrey's voice turned shrill. This is insane. Miles, tell them. But Miles said nothing, his silence deafening. 3 forged signatures. Andre continued methodically. 1 fake doctor, $47,000 in hidden debt. Each revelation landed like a bomb. The crowd pressed closer, hungry for truth. $23,000 charged to Miles's cards without permission. Andre handed Miles a credit card statement. All personal purchases, all hidden. Miles stared at the paper, his hands shaking. Aubrey? It's not what it looks like. Her voice cracked. Desperate now. It's exactly what it looks like. I finally spoke, my voice steady, strong. You tried to erase me. Aubrey's eyes darted, looking for escape, finding none. You seated me by the kitchen, deleted me from photos, forged legal documents. Each word came easier, clearer. You stole from my estate, used my son's money, lied about everything. You don't understand. Aubrey's voice turned pleading. I was trying to protect him. From what? Miles's voice broke. From my mother? From her interference. Aubrey reached for him. He stepped back. She was trying to control our marriage. I was trying to exist. My voice rang clear. In my own son's life. The crowd murmured agreement, sympathy shifting. Aubrey felt it, her power evaporating. The truth destroys lies faster than anything. Subscribe to see how this ends. If you're still not subscribing, tell me in the comments. What's holding you back? Miles turned to me, his eyes red. Mom, I'm so sorry. I know, sweetheart. Tears burned. I blinked them back. I should have protected you. His voice cracked completely. At the wedding. Always. You were manipulated. Andre's voice softened slightly. By an expert. Aubrey's lawyer appeared, whispered urgently. She shook her head, refusing counsel. I want to explain. Her voice turned desperate. Miles, please. But Miles was done listening. I saw it in his posture, his silence, his withdrawal. I stepped forward. The crowd parted, every eye on me. I spent 50 years being small. My voice carried, making myself convenient, invisible, acceptable. Heads nodded, women especially. They understood. At my son's wedding, I sat near swinging kitchen doors, listened to laughter I wasn't part of. The memory still burned. I watched my son avoid my eyes. Miles flinched. Good. He should feel this. But I'm done being invisible. My spine straightened. I'm done accepting cruelty disguised as accommodation. Applause started. Quiet at first, then louder. Women especially, clapping, supporting. I will not be an afterthought in my own story. The words felt sacred. True. Not anymore. The applause grew, filled the ballroom, validated my pain, my truth, my existence. Aubrey stood alone now, isolated, her mask shattered, her schemes exposed. Naomi, she tried one last time. I'm sorry. Sorry you got caught. I held her gaze. Not sorry for what you did. She looked away, defeated. Miles approached slowly, his face destroyed. Can you forgive me? Eventually, I echoed Andre's word. After we fix this. He nodded. Understood. Justice first. Reconciliation later. Miles's voice shook when he finally spoke. I was afraid. The confession hung between us. Raw. Honest. Of what? I asked gently. Of seeing you struggle. Tears streamed down his face. After Dad died, the bills, the poverty. So he had known, all along. I pretended everything was fine. His hands twisted together. Because if I acknowledged it, I'd have to help, and I was building my career. The guilt he'd carried, years of it, crushing him. You chose Aubrey because she made you feel successful. Understanding clicked. Not struggling like your mother. He nodded miserably. She represented everything I wanted. Wealth, status, success. And I represented everything you feared. The words hurt, but needed saying. Yes, he sobbed. I'm so sorry, Mom. I pulled him close. My boy. My broken, guilty, manipulated boy. We'll fix this. Andre stepped beside us. Miles, your mother is the strongest person I know. Miles pulled back, wiped his eyes. I see that now. She survived poverty with grace. Andre's voice swelled with pride. She endured humiliation with dignity. While I abandoned her. Miles's voice broke again. While you were scared, I corrected. There's a difference. Patrice appeared with tissues, practical as always. Miles took one, wiped his face. What happens now? He asked. Now? Andre's voice turned businesslike. Aubrey faces consequences. You file for divorce. Your mother rebuilds her life. Simple. Clear. Justice. Miles nodded. Whatever you need, Mom. I'll do it. I need you to be honest. I held his face. Always. About everything. I promise. His voice steadied. No more hiding. Andre cleared his throat. The crowd quieted. Expectant. Hungry for more drama. There's one more thing. His voice turned warm, intimate. He turned to me, took my hand. My heart stuttered. Naomi, I lost you once. His eyes shone. 50 years ago, because I was impatient, selfish. Andre, you don't have to... I started. Yes, I do. He smiled. I've spent 50 years building wealth, creating foundations, helping thousands. The crowd leaned in, sensing something monumental. But none of it mattered. His voice dropped. Because you weren't beside me. My breath caught. Tears spilled. I'm 70 years old. He laughed softly. Too old for games, for waiting, for pretending. Then he knelt, right there, in front of everyone. Naomi Sinclair, will you marry me? The room exploded. Gasps, applause, phones, recording everything. Will you let me spend whatever years remain making up for lost time? I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. 50 years. Full circle. I have a villa in Nice. His eyes twinkled. A life ready for you. All you have to do is say yes. Yes. The word burst out. Yes, yes, yes. He stood, pulled me close, kissed me like we were 20 again. The crowd roared approval. When we broke apart, he whispered, I'm transferring half my fortune to your name. $40 million. My legs went weak. Andre, that's yours. He kissed my forehead. Always should have been. $40 million. Security. Freedom. Revenge served ice cold with a side of justice. Would you take back your first love if they returned 50 years later? Subscribe and tell me. If you're still not subscribing, tell me in the comments. What's holding you back? Aubrey approached slowly, her lawyer beside her, her face streaked with tears. Naomi, her voice barely audible. I'm sorry. I waited, let her squirm. I was raised in poverty too. She swallowed hard. I saw you struggling. It terrified me. Confession. Finally. Truth beneath the lies. So you tried to erase me. I kept my voice neutral. I tried to protect myself. She wiped her eyes. From becoming you. The insult stung, even through apology. Being me isn't a curse, Aubrey. My voice turned steel. It's surviving. Something you never learned. Her lawyer whispered urgently. She nodded. I'll return all the money. Her voice shook. Sign whatever papers you want. Just please don't press charges. That's not your decision. Andre's voice cut in. The district attorney decides that. Her face crumpled. Miles, please. But Miles stood beside me now. You're on your own, Aubrey. She sobbed, broken, defeated. Her empire of lies collapsed. I'll give you one thing. I stepped closer. One piece of mercy. Hope flickered in her eyes. Anything. Get help. My voice softened slightly. Real help. For your fear, your greed, your cruelty. I will. She nodded frantically. I promise. And stay away from my family. The steel returned. Forever. She nodded. Her lawyer guided her away. Broken. Humiliated. Exposed. Justice served. Not perfect, but real. Later, in a quiet room away from cameras, Aubrey faced me alone. Her makeup destroyed. Her mask gone. You won. Her voice hollow. This wasn't about winning. I sat across from her. This was about truth. Same thing, she laughed bitterly. No. I leaned forward. Winning would be watching you suffer. Truth is watching you change. She met my eyes. You really believe I can? I believe anyone can. I meant it. If they choose to. I choose poverty over you, she said quietly. That's the truth. You reminded me where I came from. And instead of empathy, you chose cruelty. Understanding dawned. You attacked what you feared becoming. Yes, tears flowed freely. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough. My voice stayed firm. But it's a start. What do I do now? She sounded lost, young, broken. You rebuild. I stood. Differently this time. Better. Will Miles ever forgive me? No. Honesty felt important. But maybe you'll forgive yourself. She nodded, accepted her fate, her choices, her consequences. I walked to the door, paused. Aubrey? The poverty you feared? I looked back. It taught me everything I needed to survive you. Her eyes widened, understanding finally breaking through. I left her there, alone with her truth. Past midnight, I sat in my living room, Patrice beside me. The evening replayed in my mind. You did it. Patrice's voice filled with pride. You actually did it. We did it, I corrected. I couldn't have survived without you. That's what friends do. She squeezed my hand. We survived together. My phone buzzed. Text from Miles. Can we have breakfast tomorrow? Just us? Just us. Mother and son, starting over. He wants to talk, I showed Patrice the message. Good, she smiled. He should grovel properly. I laughed. Real laughter. First time in weeks. What about Andre? Patrice's eyes gleamed. Are you really moving to France? France. Villa in Nice. New life. Second chances at 70. Yes. The word felt right. True. I'm really doing it. Good. Patrice's voice turned fierce. You deserve every bit of happiness. Did I? After everything. After years of struggling, being small, making myself convenient. Maybe I did. What about you? I asked. Who'll keep you company? Please. Patrice snorted. I'll visit often, free vacation home in France. Always. I hugged her. Your family, Patrice. And family doesn't abandon family, she whispered. Not like Miles did. He's learning. I defended him. Mother instinct. He'll do better. He better. Patrice pulled back. Or he'll answer to me. We sat in comfortable silence. Evidence folders stacked nearby. Proof of victory. Justice. Truth. Andre called, his voice warm through the speaker. How are you feeling? Exhausted. I admitted. But free. Free is good, he chuckled. Free is where we start. When do we leave? The question felt surreal, real. 2 weeks. His voice turned serious. Unless you need more time. No, decision made. 2 weeks is perfect. I'll handle everything, he promised. You just rest. Rest. After years of fighting, surviving, enduring. Finally, I could rest. 1 week after the ballroom confrontation, I sat in a mahogany-paneled law office. Leather chairs, polished desk, the smell of expensive coffee and fresh beginnings. Andre's lawyer, a sharp woman named Teresa, slid documents across the desk. Everything's been restored to your name, Mrs. Sinclair. Mrs. Sinclair, soon to be Mrs. Delacroix. The trust, I asked, fully intact, original beneficiaries reinstated. Teresa tapped the first page. The forged documents have been nullified. Nullified. Like Aubrey's schemes never happened, except they had. The scars remained. And the conservatorship petition? Andre's voice rumbled beside me. Dismissed with prejudice. Teresa smiled. The fake doctor's note guaranteed that. She can never file again. Never. The word tasted like freedom. What about criminal charges? I needed to know. Teresa's expression shifted. Professional. Careful. The district attorney is reviewing. Given the evidence, prosecution is likely. Likely. Not certain, but close enough. How much time could she face? Andre asked what I couldn't. 5 to 7 years for the forgery alone. Teresa pulled out another file. More if they pursue the credit card fraud and identity theft. 7 years. Prison. My son's wife behind bars. The thought should have satisfied me. Instead, I felt empty, hollow where vindication should have lived. Are you all right? Andre squeezed my hand. I don't know. Honesty felt important. This doesn't feel like winning. Because it's not. Teresa's voice softened. It's justice. They're different things. Justice. Cold. Necessary. But not the same as healing. Your financial situation is secure, Teresa continued. The $40 million transfer completed yesterday. $40 million. Numbers so large they felt fictional. And the villa deed, Andre prompted, recorded in Nice, under both your names. Teresa passed me a folder. Wedding gift. Early. Wedding? 2 weeks away. In a garden overlooking the Mediterranean, starting over at 70. Thank you, Teresa. I stood, my legs steadier than expected. My pleasure. She shook my hand. Enjoy your new life, Mrs. Sinclair. You've earned it. Earned. Through suffering, through survival, through refusing to disappear. 3 days later, Miles knocked on my door. Morning sunlight streamed through windows, coffee brewing. Normal sounds for an extraordinary conversation. Come in, sweetheart. I opened the door wide. He stepped inside. His eyes red-rimmed, his shoulders slumped. A man carrying the weight of his mistakes. Patrice sat in my kitchen. She'd arrived early. Moral support. Witness to reconciliation. Hi, Miles. Her voice neutral, not quite forgiving, not quite hostile. Patrice. He nodded, acknowledging her presence, her judgment, her protection of me. We sat at my small kitchen table. 3 people. Years of hurt between us. Mom, Miles's voice cracked. He tried again. I'm so sorry. Sorry, such a small word for monumental damage. I know. I poured coffee, gave him time to gather himself. I abandoned you. Tears spilled. When you needed me most. Yes, truth before comfort. You did. He flinched, but nodded, accepting responsibility. After Dad died, I saw you struggling. His hands wrapped around the mug. The bills, the poverty. It terrified me. Fear, the root of so much cruelty. So you pretended I was fine. I finished his thought. Yes, he sobbed. Because if you weren't fine, I'd have to help. And I was selfish. Selfish, self-preserving, human, complicated. You married Aubrey because she represented success. I spoke the truth we'd danced around, not struggle. I married her because she made me feel rich. His voice broke completely, not like the son of a woman eating by candlelight. The image stung. He'd known, all along. He'd seen my poverty and looked away. But now I understand. He met my eyes. You weren't poor. You were surviving, with more grace than I've shown in my entire life. Grace. Survival. The difference between giving up and going on. I forgive you, Miles. The words surprised me, but felt true. Not because you deserve it, because I deserve peace. He reached across the table, grabbed my hands. I'll spend the rest of my life making this up to you. No, I squeezed back. You'll spend it being honest, with yourself, with me. That's enough. Patrice cleared her throat. Miles, your mother is leaving in 2 weeks. I know. He wiped his face. France, with Andre. Will you be okay with that? I needed to know. Will I be okay? He laughed, bitter, self-aware. Mom, you're marrying a billionaire philanthropist who's been in love with you for 50 years. I should ask if you'll be okay. Fair point. I'll visit. His voice steadied. If you'll let me? Of course. Mother instinct, automatic, real. You're still my son. Even after everything? Hope crept into his voice, especially after everything. I stood, pulled him into a hug. That's what family means. He clung to me, my baby, my boy, my complicated, flawed, beloved child. Healing started here, in this small kitchen, with coffee and tears and truth. The day before my departure, my house filled with people, friends, neighbors, Patrice's entire book club, laughter and voices and life. To Naomi, someone raised a glass. May France treat you better than Boston did. Cheers erupted. Glasses clinked. Joy filled my living room. Patrice appeared with a cake. Chocolate. My favorite. We couldn't let you leave without a proper send-off. You're too much. My voice trembled with gratitude. Not enough. She set the cake down. Never enough for what you deserve. People crowded around, hugging, sharing stories, reminding me I'd mattered here. Before Andre, before vindication, just me, Naomi, enough. Mrs. Ma Chen from next door pressed an envelope into my hand. For your new home. I opened it. A hand-painted bookmark. Delicate. Beautiful. Thank you. You helped my daughter with homework every Tuesday for 2 years. Mrs. Chen's eyes glistened. We'll miss you. 2 years. Small kindnesses. Forgotten by me, remembered by others. More gifts appeared. Photos, letters, a scrapbook Patrice had secretly compiled. My life in Boston. Documented, valued, real. Speech, someone called. Others echoed. Speech. I stood, my heart too full for words. But I tried. Thank you. My voice carried. For seeing me, even when I tried to be invisible. Heads nodded, understanding. This city gave me my son, my husband, my losses. Tears came freely now. And then it gave me you, all of you. Patrice wiped her eyes. Others followed. I'm not running away. Important to clarify. I'm running toward love, toward peace, toward the life I always dreamed of. Applause built, warm, supporting, but I'll never forget. My voice cracked. That you loved me when I had nothing. The room erupted, clapping, crying, celebrating, and mourning simultaneously. This was goodbye, and thank you, and I'll remember you, all mixed together. Departure day arrived too quickly. Suitcases by the door, passport in my purse, Andre loading his car. Patrice helped me with final checks, stove off, windows locked, mail forwarded. You're really doing this, her voice thick with emotion. I'm really doing this. I hugged her tight. Come visit, often. Every few months, she promised. Someone needs to make sure he's treating you right. Andre appeared in the doorway. The car's ready. Ready? For new life, new country, new chapter. I'll miss you. Patrice held me longer. So much. I'll miss you too. My best friend. My sister in all but blood. But we'll talk. Every week. Every day, she corrected. I need my Naomi fix. We laughed through tears, clinging to each other. Knowing this goodbye changed everything. Finally, we separated. Patrice walked us to the car, helped load the last bag. Be happy, she commanded. That's an order. Yes, ma'am, I saluted, making her laugh. Andre started the engine. My house disappeared in the rearview mirror. 23 years of memories, left behind but not forgotten. At the airport, Andre held my hand through security, through the long walk to our gate, his presence steady, grounding. We settled into first-class seats. Champagne offered. I accepted, celebrating, mourning, both at once. Nervous? Andre asked. Terrified. Honesty, always. But excited. Good. He kissed my forehead. Fear means you're alive. The plane filled. Families, couples, solo travelers, everyone starting journeys. Ours just happened to be permanent. The engines roared. The plane moved. Boston shrinking below us. Your days of struggle are over. Andre's voice rumbled with promise. I swear it. I know. I believed him. Finally. Completely. The plane lifted, gravity releasing us, sky opening wide. I thought about the wedding, the kitchen seat, the humiliation, how close I'd come to accepting invisibility, but I'd fought back, found my voice, claimed my dignity, and now I was flying, literally, metaphorically, towards sun and love and second chances. At 70, that life was just beginning. Some stories end with justice served. Mine ended with joy reclaimed, and that made all the difference. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next one. Drop your country flag and location in the comments. I'd love to know where you're watching from. And if you're still not subscribed, seriously, what's stopping you? Your feedback means a lot and helps me improve every story.